The living world. Life is a unique characteristic of our planet Earth. It is not found to be existing on any other planet but in abundance on Earth. We are surrounded by life in different forms. Basically, we are living in the living world. Living world and living things are quite mysterious. This is the reason scientists are trying to unfold the mystery of nature by constantly discovering new things from centuries till date, be it a different variety of flowers, forests, and organisms. Biodiversity is the number and type of organisms present on Earth. There is variety in the shape, size, color, habits, and habitats of living organisms. Currently, there are about 1.7 to 1.8 million species. Unique features of living things. Growth. Growth is considered as increase in mass and increase in number of individuals. All living beings and some non-living beings grow in size. Growth in living beings takes place internally by the formation of new cells. Such a method is called intussusception. Growth varies in plants and animals. In plants, growth takes place when the cells continue to divide during their entire lifespan in their meristematic region. However, animals show a definite growth and they do not grow after a certain age. Cell division in animals does occur in certain tissues to replace lost cells. Unicellular organisms also grow by cell division. However, cell division is a means of reproduction in them. One must remember that increase in body mass is also considered as growth. When we consider growth in a non-living thing, surprisingly, it occurs because of accumulation of matter from outside. Non-living objects such as mountains, boulders, crystals also grow by the accumulation of similar materials on their outer surface. The process is called accretion. So, growth does not qualify as a character for living organisms. Second, reproduction. A living organism has the capacity to produce organisms of itself by the process known as reproduction. Living organisms reproduce its own kind to continue the progeny of the species. Reproduction can be of two types: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual method of reproduction takes place in the lower organisms. In asexual reproduction, there is only one parent and the offsprings are identical to the parent cell. For example, bacteria grow and reach maturity quickly, after which they split into two organisms by a process of asexual reproduction called the binary fission. Fungi undergo asexual reproduction to produce asexual spores. Hydra reproduces by budding, which is an asexual method of reproduction. Flatworms, planaria, form an entirely a new organism by the regeneration from the fragmented part of the body. Asexual reproduction may occur by fission, fragmentation, regeneration, vegetative propagation, etc. In unicellular organisms like bacteria, amoeba, etc., reproduction and growth are achieved by an increase in cell number. Reproduction generally refers to sexual reproduction. More complex organisms engage in sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, two parents contribute to the formation of the new individual. The offsprings thus formed have a different genetic makeup than either parent and increases genetic variation within a species. However, reproduction cannot be considered as a distinguishing factor by living organisms even though non-living objects do not reproduce or replicate itself. However, there are many living organisms such as worker bees, mules, infertile human couples that cannot reproduce. Hence, reproduction cannot be a characteristic feature of living organisms. Moreover, reproduction is not required for say, survival of the individual, but it is required for continuation of generation. If a species cannot reproduce the next generation, the species will be extinct. 3. Metabolism. The next important feature of living organisms is metabolism. Metabolism is the process by which your body converts what you eat and drink into energy. Metabolism is a term that is used to describe all chemical reactions that take place in the interior of cells which maintain the living state of the cells and the organism. Chemicals form the basis of every living organism. These chemicals have different sizes, functions, and they belong to different classes that constantly change and convert to biomolecules. Metabolism are of two types, anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism includes all the reactions that increase the mass of the organism like photosynthesis. Catabolism involves breakdown reactions such as respiration, digestion, etc. All activities in an organism such as growth, movements, development, reproduction, etc. are due to metabolism. Numerous metabolic reactions occur in plants, animals, and microorganisms. Non-living objects do not show metabolism. If any reaction occurs outside the body of an organism, then the organism is neither living nor non-living. Metabolic reactions can be demonstrated in cell-free systems. In an isolated metabolic reaction performed in a test tube is neither living nor non-living. Isolated metabolic reactions in vitro are not living things but surely living reactions. So this indicates that metabolism is a characteristic of living organism. Cellular organization. Cellular organization of the body is also one of the characteristic feature of life forms. The first thing that makes living organism unique is that they are all made of cells. Cells are considered as the building blocks of life and are the most basic unit of life, whether those cells are plants, animals, fungi or bacteria. If something is going to be alive, it must be made of cells. Some organisms are made of just one cell, like many bacteria, while multicellular organisms are very complex beings that have incredible cellular organization. They are all made up of cells, unicellular or multicellular. Cells are amazing because while they are very small themselves, they can work together to form very large structures like the tissues and organs in your body. In multicellular organisms, cells are specialized. For example, liver cells are only found in your liver and brain cells are best kept up in your head. This organization begins way down in your DNA and extends all the way to you as a whole organism. The organization is as follows: molecules to cell organelles to cells, tissues, organs, organ system, organism. Fifth, consciousness. Living things know what is going on around them and respond to changes in the environment. An adaptation refers to the process of becoming adjusted to an environment. All living organisms respond to their environment. Living things display responsiveness, non-living things do not. All organisms are aware of their environment, but human beings are aware of themselves. Hence, human beings have self. However, it is very complicated to define living in case of living beings. For example, there are people who are in coma and they do not respond to external stimuli. The function of heart and lungs are replaced by machines. So, are they living or non-living? Thus, defining living in human beings is complex. In higher classes, you will come to know that all living phenomena are due to underlying interactions. Properties of tissues are not present in the constituent cells but arise as a result of interactions among the constituent cells. Similarly, properties of cellular organelles are not present in the molecular constituents of the organelle but arise as a result of interactions among the molecular components comprising the organelle. These interactions result in emergent properties at a higher level of organization. This phenomenon is true in the hierarchy of organizational complexity at all levels. Therefore, we can say that living organisms are self-replicating, evolving, and self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to external stimuli. These interactions result in emergent properties at a higher level of organization. This phenomenon is true in the hierarchy of organizational complexity at all levels. Therefore, we can say that living organisms are self-replicating, evolving, and self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to external stimuli. Thank you.